I know a girl and she dances on the street. She wears kung fu slippers on her feet. And with a plastic whistle in her hand.
We're in York today. One of our friends who does all the branding and artwork for the album is based up here, so we're up here sorting a few things out before the release.
So as we say, we had loads and loads of songs written over quite a long period of time after the first record, so we didn't necessarily set out to make an album that had a real concept or single theme, but so it wasn't by design, but once we started narrowing the songs down and picking the songs we wanted to put on the record, it became obvious that there kind of was a theme or a story to all the songs, which I guess was so natural, wasn't it? We'd been writing those songs, quite personal songs over that period. The album essentially tells a story of us, growing up from being guys in our early 20s, throughout our 20s up to our early 30s.
Someone got in touch just from Japan, and we could see that there was still some interest in the band and interest in the last album. And at that stage we kind of went on to social media and people started getting in touch with us, and kind of snowballed from there really. And it's taken us a couple of years to get to this stage, but yeah, we're all good to go with the album. If you listen to the album straight through, it starts off with a bit of a bang, and it's all about being young and a bit freer, and as you go through, you experience everything that life throws at you, I think. So we've kind of come out the other end 10 years later with songs that I think quite well, document quite well, what we've kind of done and what we've been through. So I think, yeah, I don't think we set out to do it, but we've ended up making quite a personal record. It's still recognisably aerial. I think the sound has definitely moved on, but we're tackling some different themes in that same kind of genre and the same kind of 3-minute construct that we've got. So it's been interesting to try and play around with that and see what we can actually bring to it that's something a bit different.
So we had probably 50-60 songs at least that you guys have done between you, and that process of going through them and deciding which were the best 10 or 12 was almost the best fun part, and seeing from that how we could leave nothing wasted, make sure that every second of the album was as tight as it could be, and we were quite disciplined about that, about cutting out stuff that was unnecessary or waste, and just leaving what we think are 12 of the tightest, best pop songs we could get for the record.
Don't you know she makes me feel all? Don't you know she makes me feel all? Don't you know she makes me feel alright?
Recorded the album in London, a studio called Lightship 95, which was about April-May time last year. So we spent 2 weeks in the studio recording the album start to finish, and yeah, really happy with the way things have turned out.
The producer Ben Phillips down there did a great job with us. I think he knew exactly where we were coming from and what we were trying to achieve with the record, and I think the final product really is exactly what we were looking for, and so we're really pleased with it.
In Japan it's out on Power Pop Academy and This Time Records, and in the US it's Cool Cat Music, and in the UK we've got our own Music Glue store which you can get everything from, but you can get everything from our website.
Yeah, all the details are on the website.
What's been interesting about this one is that we've kind of retained control of pretty much everything up until this release, so we've kind of we wanted to do everything right because we'd been away for so long. We wanted to do everything right and come back and get it as we wanted. So we've been quite precious about everything from the recording up to the branding, through to the release details itself, and we wanted to just make sure that we were happy with it before it went out there. I think one of the things that I've done is kind of gone back and just tried to understand a bit about where some of the roots of the sound that we like have come from. So I mean, I've got massively into bands like the Cars, the last few years, and even actually going back and thinking about some of the ways that some other bands, like your kind of Ben Folds 5 and Ben Queller, and how bands like that maybe approach harmonies and song structure. And I think as we kind of progress in our songwriting, we try and think about how others have done it.
One of the things I started listening to a lot in the last few years was like Americana and country music, and that might not be immediately obvious as an influence on the record, but a song like More Than Alcohol definitely has a country feel to it, and that's just something we've got into much more recently. We're still pretty much the same sounding band. We've done things differently, but it still sounds like an Ariel record.
Yeah. I mean, there's some staples in there. So for those that had the first record, you've got the harmonies, you've got the Casio tone bank makes a return. So there's some familiar kind of bits to lock onto, but I think we'd like to think that it's moved on as we've moved on as well.
Forget I've never found use for algebra or geometry too. So how can they send kids into this world without a clue if it's all you ever need to know when it's all you ever will go through? Then why don't they teach heartbreak at school? I've never quoted any Shakespeare when I'm trying to impress, and I can't think of any essays that I've written since I left. I've never found myself in science lab, mixing chemicals. I've never dabbled in a little reproduction